Hey guys, welcome back to Summer Studios. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a simple transition scene. So first thing I will do, I will set up my artboard, and the artboard is the same size like a long screen, which is 1920 by 1080 pixels. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take elements from our own branding and use that to make the scene first. I don't want to go without knowing where I want to put the elements in. So this is what I would do. So let me show that to you now. After this, I'm gonna add an outline around all the shapes so they don't look like they're merging together. Okay, so now you can see that I have covered the whole page from different elements that I want to add to this animation. And you can literally choose any elements that you would like to add to it. These are just some of the favorite ones I have. The next thing I would do is, based on your needs, you can either export it, separate it out in different pieces. You separate it out one by one. So now that you're happy with the design that you want, I will duplicate all this. So just in case something goes wrong, you still have a vector layer. And I might rasterize some of the orange peels that I have here because they have too many curves in it, and my computer cannot handle a lot of times a lot of curves. So if you have a computer which can get slow if it has too many curves, I would recommend just rasterizing any of the layers that you have. So I'm just gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna select it all, press Alt, and then put this on a different layer, just like that. Grab it. I'm gonna lock the bottom layer and then close it. I don't need it right now, but I'm gonna keep a backup just in case. Now all of these are separate objects and they're all grouped together. I'm gonna now separate all of them in different layers. So if I open my layer 3, which is where all the different objects are, you can see they're all in different groups, and I can rename them as groups, but I won't do that right now. But I want them to be separated out in different layers. So when we take this all in After Effects, I can just animate all the layers separately. So when it bounces up, it will bounce up one at a time and make that transition scene, which I showed you at the beginning of the video. So just click on layer 3, then you click on this hamburger menu right here and click on release to layers sequence. So now everything has been layered again, and now select from layer 4 to layer 32. Make sure that you press shift while you do that, so all of them are selected at a time, and then drag it outside of layer 3. So now everything is outside and layer 3 is empty, and it's the size of the artboard that I wanted to be in. So that's why I wanted to do all of this before, and I'm pretty happy with this now. So I'm gonna save it all, and we're gonna use open the same file on After Effects. So now open your After Effects, start with a new project, okay, and then we're gonna go new composition, add your custom preset. So I'm gonna have it at 1920 and 1080, which would be the width of any YouTube video. Change the duration to however long you want the transition to be. I don't want it to be over 5 seconds, but it might be a bit more or a bit less than that. So I'll see as I'm doing it, and you can do that as well. But if you want to be just safe, just put it as 10 seconds, and because you would not expect the transition to be 10 seconds long. But if it's less than that, you can easily crop it out. Next I'm going to do is open the Adobe file. So remember where you saved it. I just saved it in my downloads folder. Remember where you have saved it. And now double click on this area under the project where you have your composition. I will double click here, and then I will open my 81225 file, and I will import it as a composition, and it should be document size. And then you have this file here which says 81225. I'm going to drag it down in the comp. You see this drop down menu under the screen which says 50. Just put it to fit, so you will be able to see the whole artboard on it. So double click on this, and now you have all the layers available to you. What I would like to do as well is just lock everything, animate things one by one. Not only will I lock the rest of the layers, I will also make them invisible. So I'm only focusing on the first layer. I'm going to clarify, I'm not going to convert this into a layer because it's an image. To do this animation, you can do this in 2 ways. The first way is to animate the frames, 5 frame, but the second way is also something super easy, and so you can use animation preset. I'm going to show you how to do it one by one by using keyframes. Start by selecting the layer and press S on your keyboard. The S will show only the scale part of the layer. So there are a fair few options that you can do to add some animation to your object. So you can play around with the anchor point, position, scale, rotation, opacity. But I don't want them open at all times. So generally, if you want to close it, I would say if you open it accidentally, just press U. So that will close the whole thing. And if you want to just open only one certain point that you want to play around with, just press that. So let's say for position, you would put P. Then for scale, you would S. For rotation, you will have R. For opacity, you will have T. For transparency. And for anchor point, it's A. Right now, we only need the scale. So just press S and your scale will keep it up here. The timer next to it is where we will have the keyframe. So click on that once. We will add a keyframe at the first part of the video. So that where it starts. Then move a bit ahead. Let's say at 20F. And then add another key point by pressing this diamond shape over here. Okay, so this has started your keyframe journey from one point to point A to point B, but we haven't added any changes to the whole object at all, so that's why we don't see any changes. So keep the scale to normal at 100 on the second point and on the second keyframe that we made, and then drag your cursor back to the first keyframe and make the scale to 0. So now you have a nice motion, but don't worry about it. We're going to change it and alter it as we go about. So now I'm going to add another keyframe. Just click on the diamond again, and at this point I will scale it a bit higher. So you know how it's at 80, I will make it 110. And this link option links the constraints together. So if you scale one, the other one will scale according to it as well, so that the shape remains proportional. So now once you play it back, we have a light jump at the end and it slowly eases up, but we're going to speed this up. I'm going to press my left mouse button and then drag it. So I can select both the keyframes together and then move it down. So I like that a lot more, and it looks a lot more softer. This is what I expected. Select all the keyframes by pressing down on the left mouse button and dragging the mouse down to select it all. Right click and then click on Keyframe Assistant and Easy Ease. And I don't think we have to go back into the graph mode to change it. So this is a really beginner friendly way for you to learn how you can make simple and easy animations with just scaling in After Effects. So just like that, we're going to do that for every single layer. Another thing I want to do before I go about and do that is make any layer which was not rasterized by me in Illustrator into a vector, which I can use in After Effects. So this layer is pretty simple. It doesn't have that many curves, and I don't think it will cause havoc on my computer. So what I will do is select layer 31, right click, create, and create shapes from vector layer. Just click on that. So now we created this as a shape. Now I can delete this layer. I don't need that. I will also go on properties. It's because you see this outline around it. And I will just delete. So I'll just delete the mini groups around it and make the center point inside the object itself. So when you scale it, it won't scale from a different point, because all the animation will take place from this anchor point, which we consider as like a midpoint. Any animation that you do will start from this point. So if you move this anchor point here, your scaling will start from here and it will scale down here. If you put it here, it will start from here and scale on like this way. So I'm gonna put it in the middle so it looks like it's bouncing up. For this, I will ask you to turn all the layers on so you can see if everything is okay. So like this is another layer, and I'm going to change it to shape. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to delete the Illustrator layer and then delete the mini groups inside. Make the anchor point the middle point, and then now there will be no problem. Now again, this is an image that we made. So in this case, I will not make it into a layer because it will cause either the whole layer to become gray or make too many curves, and then my After Effects will crash. But what I will do is move this point to the middle of the image. So now that we fixed the anchor points and made it in the middle of your object, now we can do this simply. Just copy these keyframes, select the layer on top, press S again, and then paste these keyframes. Now we're gonna play and see what we get. So now you can see that they are scaling from the middle, because now we don't have to worry about doing anything else with the anchor points. They're at the right place. And I've messed this up a fair few times when I'm doing animations for people, is I paste my keyframes at a certain point, but then I realize I haven't adjusted where my anchor point is. So make it a habit of adjusting or checking the anchor points at the right place that you want it to be. Now, that does not necessarily mean that they need to be in the middle, but that just necessarily mean that they need to be at the point you expect or want them to be for your animation to look right. So just think about that before you do anything. So next thing I'm going to do, obviously we're going to scale it. So not scale it, obviously we're going to move it a bit around so you can see like some of them jumping first, some of them jumping later, but we'll do that once we have animations on all of them. So I'm just going to copy and paste the same animation on all these layers. Okay, so now we have added the same thing. They all animating at the same point. Now you can play the animation to see if you like it. And yeah, I really like it. This is what I was thinking when I was this is what I was thinking in my mind when I wanted to make that animation. And I've seen a fair few people do like different variations of it. So now the next thing we're gonna do is have them pop up at different intervals. Okay, so for me to make the animation look the way that I'm imagining it to, and not all of them come together, I want to offset a few layers a bit, like by a fair few milliseconds. So I'm just gonna select a few, let's say this many, and offset them a bit. Then I'm gonna select another number, like this. Just selecting random ones and offsetting those by a bit, and let's see how that looks. Yeah, this is more what I was thinking, so I'm pretty happy with this. So you can play around if you like, but what I will do is, to make my life easier, if you want, you can also do an end transition just around here. So once this is done, because it'll be really quick, we'll just have the ending just right here, so it will be done within a second. So we're gonna go back to the first case that we have. So copy this first layer, that is when your thing is at 100%, and paste it just where I have my mouse pointer, right here. Then second layer is when it's a bit bigger, and then just paste it a bit ahead. And the last one is again when it's just scaled to 0, and just roughly paste it back to where it was. And then let's see how it looks. And now you can see it comes back and then it goes back. There's a fair bit where it's just standing there, and we don't want that. So I will decrease the time frame from that. Yeah, that's happening, and then it goes down. So we're going to do that exactly, and then copy this, the exact same framework, on different variations. It's based on where you think it should be. If it's ahead, if the timeline that appeared ahead in the timeline, then place it ahead. If it appeared at the back, then place it at the back. That's what I'm gonna roughly place it on. So this is where I have it on here, but on here I will have it around here. So for this one, I'm happy with this placement. I'm just copy it around here. Open the layers where the timeline is starting from this point. If you have an easier way to do this, do let me know. And then paste it exactly there. And so this will be your final composition. What you can do at your comp level is just cut it down to the point that you want the render to be. So you can drag this area down, work area in, till all of your objects disappear. Just drag it to here. I like to give some space to myself, because I think that makes it a lot easier. Otherwise I would have to increase the composition size. In this way I know I have extra space and I can just choose not to use it. This is what our final version is. It's a really simple transition. All we did was use the scale to creatively scale different objects that we made in Illustrator, and you can do with any of your design assets that you have. So let me just render it out and export it. So for rendering it out, you go to File, Export, Add to Render Queue. So let's say, oh wow, the video is doing great. Oh wow, a transition. Oh, lovely. Okay, so that was it. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, bye bye.